Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this B stream for DreamHack Valencia. Now, normally, we'd go through, we'd talk about these teams, we'd discuss what's going on, but because we're generous here on the Bean stream, you don't want to hear us. You want to be watching these games. So let's just get straight into it. I'm obviously with Doomsy, so let's talk about Renault Vitality versus Splyce. Now, Vitality, they're already up in their game, if we can give that a look. And it's 2-0 now, and obviously they're going to be the favourites going into this, right?
Absolutely. They scored their first 2 goals in the first 20 seconds. So they already average like a goal every 10 seconds, which is incredible. But Vitality are definitely strong favourites here. Honestly, any team they face here, they'll probably be the favourites, being the reigning world champions. So, you know, we're going to basically look to see. I want to see how much pressure Vitality put on Splyce, and just see how Splyce can even, how Splyce respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the peeps wouldn't necessarily be used to playing teams necessarily as good as an on-form Vitality, so it could be a little bit of a culture shock to them as well, obviously coming from their first season to RLCS from the RLRS, so the caliber's slightly different, but I mean, hey, it's not like they've not taken scalps off the North American RLCS teams anyway, is it?
I mean, for sure. I mean, even last DreamHack in Dallas, Vitality were getting caught off guard. They're losing 3-2 to teams that shouldn't really be getting 2 games off them. So this is again
had a poor performance generally in Dallas.
Exactly. I want to see the Vitality that shows up today. And so far 2-0 out. It seems like they've got a good showing to start with. We'll see how this goes.
In Dallas, obviously it was 3-2 on day 1 to Mousesports over Vitality. They ended up making it into day 2, but then they ended up having a pretty unfortunate loss to NRG, ended up going 3-0. But we have to talk about their most recent performance, which I think is more an indicator of how this team actually performed. Them being decisive world champions. They were undoubtedly the best team ever in New Jersey a couple weekends ago. So if they can bring that form, they're going to be pretty much unstoppable during this tournament, I think.
Yeah, for sure. They took down Cloud9 in quite a dominant fashion, and that's Cloud9.
4-0.
They were playing sensational that last day of Rocket League.
I mean, they beat out the NA Big 3.
The NA
in
Big 3.
The 3. It was 3-1 to them versus NRG. It was then 4-0 for them versus the previous world champions Cloud9 and the DreamHack Dallas champions Cloud9, and then it was 4-1 in the finals versus G2. Not any team can do that. And Vitality, we can sing their praises as much as we want, but it's just how they end up performing that really shows off the team that they love being.
Absolutely. And at the moment, it seems like they're playing pretty solid. Nothing. They don't have to pull it too much out of the bag at the moment. It seems like they're playing pretty clean, good Rocket League, playing with each other a bit more. Not taking too many silly chances. I mean, they don't need to at 2-0 up, so they're smart players. They don't need to do anything like that. Because again, I think Splice could be a team they could underestimate just a little bit too much if they get ahead, maybe. So they should watch out for that as well.
I mean, as silly as it sounds, they might fall into the trap of thinking of this team as Splyce as opposed to thinking of them as the peeps.
That's true.
Because they might think, okay, we're against Splyce, we should win this. But then actually, you see the results the peeps have had, which is 2/3 of this roster, and then you realise they are no joke.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've just recently qualified into the RLCS, so they're an RLCS caliber team, and even amongst RLCSs, we've had 8th place teams beating the 1st place team. So it can definitely happen here.
I mean, like I said, Dallas, we had Mousesports beat Vitality, and they literally got relegated into the RLRS. So that proves your point perfectly. But
Exactly.
I mean, 40 seconds left here. Vitality 2-0 up, looking to be pretty much this game finished with. There's still obviously going to be a few chances for Splyce to maybe sneak a goal, but it's not like they've not had their opportunities. There was a point where they had 3 or 4 shots in a row that just got defended time and time again. So it's not like they're going to be impossible to be scored.
Well, the interesting thing here is both of these goals were scored in the first 20 seconds, and since then there hasn't been another goal scored. So, yet.
You nearly
it begs the
jinxed
question. where the Splyce just had a little bit of a rough start, got caught off guard a bit a few too many times, and now maybe in the next game they'll even it out and they'll play a bit more sensible. So it could be even closer games in the following matches.
K-Dot just flexing his alpha boost there, spraying it all over Scrub. Very, very, very cute of him. So well done. Obviously, first game going towards Vitality, exactly what we would have predicted. We're going to be predicting a few of these series later on in the day as well. Obviously, just some of these get started very quickly, and you guys want to see the gameplay, so we're not going to take that away from you. But how do we reckon Splyce played in that first game? You said that the 2 goals were scored very quickly, and then they seemed to find their footing a little bit against these Titans.
Yeah, I was looking at the pressure in particular because a team like Vitality can sort of choke hold the other another team that maybe can't quite keep up with their speed. But it seemed like Splyce was like, hold on, they actually had a few opportunities. It wasn't anything too dangerous, but there were some opportunities there. It looked like Vitality were just sort of intercepting them before anything dangerous could happen. So Splyce either need to make these opportunities a little bit further back to so that they can draw Vitality out and they have to travel further to intercept, or maybe just do it faster basically, or a bit more of an angle. So Splyce may make these passing plays or make plays that are a little bit too controlled and safe. Maybe need to play a little bit more wider to basically so Vitality have a harder job of intercepting. They have to travel further to draw them out a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, if they can end up drawing out some of the Vitality players in positions that they're not necessarily too comfortable with, then we're going to see a little bit more a higher success rate come out from them. But K-Dot passing out of his own half, looks very peak, he can't make contact, follows up with the 20 boost. Scrubkill is there, can he secure the double? Yes, he can, from that side wall as well. K-Dot sets him up for, Karma sets him up for, I guess. But he's just so quick to it, gets nose onto nose. He can sink it after just 15.
Well, I get Splyce again, I've just conceded a goal within the first, within 15 seconds this time. So there's something about that early in Childish. I mean, in that case, Karma's clear just wasn't hard enough. And so if a clear isn't hard enough, it's essentially a pass to the other team. So Scrub took full advantage.
Recklessly out of his own half. Jaro going up on that side wall, preparing very nicely. Kind of just sort of hits it straight at him. But was a very good position for him to be in. The miss from Karma did not quite resonate with Fairy Peak there. Thought it was going to be a clear hit. Scrub stopping that from even daring to go over the halfway line. Going to maintain all of the pressure that they can. Karma very low on boost, easily beaten up by K-Dot, who actually continues to go low. I thought he might continue going high with that, maybe go something a little bit cheeky, but the demo from Karma on the K-Dot means there's a little bit of a smoke screen towards the net. And then there's not anybody back able to get the save on it. Karma, I think, doing a little bit more harm than good there.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough. Gyro, there was a double commit there between Gyro and Renault, and that caused a little bit of kerfuffle into the defense. Karma then, getting the demo caused a little bit of smoke screen. Gyro was confused about where to go. It was just a bit of a messy defensive situation.
Yeah. I think we saw that before when they were against Ground Zero. There's a few times where there were double commits, or like I said, something a little bit messy, where you can't have that against any team at this level, let alone Vitality. Ground Zero is struggling to capitalise on that as much as they should have done. A few sort of missed shots when they could have been on target, but by the same merit, Splyce did just do quite well in that series. Struggling more at this higher level though.
Yeah, I think sometimes it could be a mental thing, and sometimes it could be actually the team is just playing a lot faster, so you don't have time to do what you want to do. Because if you're playing against Vitality, a lot of the time you're going to think, all right, we need, let's just give it our all, and you're probably going to respect them a lot. And so you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes with double commits because you're trying to rush yourself to play at their level. So we're definitely going to see a lot more mistakes from Splyce here, just from their own merit, I would think, if they are getting a bit too pressured by Vitality on the mental side of things.
Yeah, those unforced errors going to probably come out pretty big. Nice touch there from K-Dot. Goes sort of top corner, but just go for the pass instead. Very big, trying to intercept as best he can. Up high, K-Dot can't get there. Rattles though, hitting that connecting woodwork. Doesn't end up going in as very quickly. Scrubkill now in the center, goes off the ceiling. Backflips as Very Peak calls it. And that is a vital touch coming out from Karma.
Yeah, just little touches like that. Even if it's doesn't really go that far. If it can throw off an offensive player who's trying to predict it, yeah, they're really useful.
Shot by Reynolds, can't quite go. Doesn't go as far as he wanted it to. Scrub Killer intercepting as now he goes up for one. Going for the second, but interrupted by Karma, who's up. No one's there, but Reynolds is there quicker than any Vitality member. High off the ceiling. Scrub Killer wants to get there just wide of the post and bumps Very Peak on his way out.
He bumped him into a better position. I love that. I was like, Freddie, I can't believe it. I was like, oh, look, a bump. That's uncharacteristic. Yeah. And then he bumps him into a better position to shoot. I mean, like, of all the things, Vitality, a bump on their own teammates was a good thing. So silly.
Splice, I think at that point, you're like, the gods are against us. Like, that was such a perfect place for him to land. And I like the fact he just stays on those two wheels as well and ends up getting into the perfect position to hit a shot. Nice and quickly as well. I mean, that's not... Those recoveries are pretty tough to do.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, you get into this habit where you gotta constantly be on the lookout where at any given moment you might just get bumped or flipped or like you don't recover well, and you need to always be ready to essentially hold your handbrake and just land exactly how you want to. Make sure that you recover quickly, because that's a big part of, you know, what separates sometimes even, you know, obviously like that separates grand champs among non-grand champs or high grand champs, low grand champs, but even separates some of like the world's best teams against like you know, like a top 3 team compared to a number 8 team, just like their ability to recover so quickly.
That's something that I've always been so impressive with Scrub Killer, is that obviously he's a ones. I suppose now he's becoming a threes main. But he is one of the best in the world. And has to be perfect.
Yes.
Oh my god.
He
does all that flashy stuff going on. He scored an incredible goal as well while we're complimenting him. The boy knows how to get our attention.
He does very well. The 1v1, a lot of the best recovery players in the game are 1v1, like are really good at 1v1s because you just learn to recover so quickly.
And that 1 second that you're missing out on recovering for as well, that can cost you a game at the highest level too.
Absolutely. Oh, that was really smart from Kado there. Get a little delayed hit, brought out the defense and then try to score, but luckily there was another player back there.
That's sort of what we were talking about earlier by exploiting those pre-jumps. Oh, Kado.
Lovely. Double touch. Oh. Great save there from Renault. Comes in at the last second. But the unrelenting pressure, it doesn't matter. Scrub Killer gets the goal. It's the third goal. He gets his hat-trick. Vitality have fallen out with 10 seconds left. Doesn't look... I think we can say this game is done for Vitality.
No.
No? Okay,
no.
Let's go. Let's go.
No.
10 seconds. We got this.
I think Splice can get one goal every 2.5 seconds.
Easy.
Every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Every 1.8 seconds. Every 1 second. They can still do it. 2 goals.
They can travel back in time.
GG. Oh. We couldn't have guessed it. That's the thing. So Vitality winning that second one again, still going according to the script. Splice, though, honestly, not necessarily performing as weakly as you might necessarily expect at this level. Obviously, they are up against the hardest opponent at this tournament, in probably the hardest group in this tournament as well. I think Vitality are expected to win this 3-0. Do you reckon that we can see Splice taking a game maybe or getting it into an overtime?
If things carry on how they are for both teams, I don't see it happening. Splice are conceding a lot of early goals. Basically, their early goals they're conceding are to do with their mishaps. They're making mistakes, like with the double commits, just basically passing straight to a Vitality player. But then as it gets later on in the game, so we've seen Splice have been a bit more organized. They haven't double committed so much and spread out a bit more. But then, and it worked in the first game because they didn't concede anything and the opportunities weren't too dangerous. But then in this game, Vitality, they were just, even though Splice had increased their defense and played a bit more sensible, Vitality's just like, doesn't matter. We're just going to throw it. We're just going to like casually throw everything at you and then just, score 2 more goals.
I saw a few ideas, some good plays. There's a couple passing plays that went just sort of slightly behind the Splice teammate. There's one sort of in the middle, I think, where Jaro dropped Rettel. And we just saw that maybe half a second earlier, that would have been a booming shot that can then be put on the net. But it's just that little bit of not quite knowing when to pass or just passing that little bit too late. Maybe the hesitation on the passes sometimes. But getting into game at number 3, we're expecting to be a 3-0. Splice, come on, surprise us. Give us something to go for.
Well, they haven't conceded yet, and it's been 20 seconds, so already...
They're breaking the curse!
Already they're doing well, so well done, Splice. It's interesting. Watch out for the vitality. Interesting because this is what pattern you'll see at high level players where they're not quite. There you go. They're not quite. They're aggressive as the third man, but because their rotations are so quick, the third man can push up. And so at any given moment, when the first man becomes the third man, they're defending on the way back. Yeah. Instead of being back, if that makes sense. So they're actually going they're going towards their own goal to defend, which it basically puts you in a shadowing position, which can be good. But obviously there's some risk elements to it. But obviously if you're good as vitality players are, it's not too big with it.
But those overcommits aren't exactly, they're not being punished for them thus far. They're not having issues with certain players being a little bit too far forward. So it's nothing to change at the moment anyway.
Absolutely not. I mean, they do it perfectly. That's how they can do that method very well. They're the type of players that would benefit from it.
Hoping to, obviously, if you're a Vitality fan, sitting in the chat right now, you're very happy with this result so far. Happy to see that Very Peak again is playing exceptionally on land. I feel like after winning Worlds, he has found that actually, you know what? He can be one of the best players in the world online and offline. So he sort of scrubbed away that perception of himself, and he's had that confidence to actually be who he is able to be online and also offline.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know if it was a nerves thing with Fairy Peak or just, I don't know, whatever the issue was, but he's playing a lot better now. But Karma getting Splyce's first goal of the series so far. A great little touch from Renault there, puts up for Karma. K-Dog gets a little bit caught off guard on the front post, as expected. Because Renault has the option to go in field for a Childish, or he can pop out for for a team.
For a what?
For a Childish. Karma's there to receive it, so that's great play.
Yeah, I like the fact he did it a little bit late as well. He did it late, but also quite quickly. He did it right on the tip of his nose, so it just started like rotting across the net. So that was pretty well done by Rettles. That's kind of sort of mechanics in the past that I like seeing. Whereas not just your standard, I'm on the side, I'm going to pass it in the middle now. No, you're actually sort of baiting out. Like you said, you're baiting the defender.
Exactly, yeah, and that's really important in the high level games because you can't. You've got to give yourself as many options as possible. So if you can force the defender, if you can force the defender's hand, then you have the option because then you just make if you know what they're doing, you can do the other option that will work against them. You bring them one way, then you shoot the other. Yeah. As opposed to just leaving them with two options. That is a fantastic pass there. Right,
talk us through why that's so good because.
Alright, so K-Dog is like it's the classic ceiling pass into the middle there, but K-Dog just gets it. Sometimes you can hit the ball and it will bounce too hard off the ceiling. Sometimes it's not high enough. But there he essentially just bounced it off the ceiling with enough speed that he can generate more power into his pass. If it didn't touch the ceiling, it'd be really hard to get it down with, and if it went too far down, then it would be harder to get the accuracy. So
it was also he could have gone for the shot. Like he almost like he kept himself in that middle ground of I could shoot here, or I could go straight for the pass, and that is what's so.
He's doing it. He was like, I saw what you did, K-Dog. I saw what you did. Good job. I was like, I'm gonna go.
I can do that. I'm a poor man's K-Dog. But so the fact that he sort of almost faked out going for both was amazing to see. And also Rettles, again, with a really, really nice ceiling read. A Fairy Peak being challenged by Gyro, who then I think bumps Scrubkiller into the net, tries to go for that squishy save. And Rettles quick enough that he can put it in. And now, this game much, much closer. And honestly, I think if we were seeing the previous Splice squad, the one that people are used to seeing, this would not be happening. The fact that the peeps are here is what's making it so fantastic.
I thought the flashbang might interfere there with some of the saving, but it was alright. It wasn't too bad. The smoke screen wasn't too bad. Splice are playing so much better than they were in the previous games. They're being a little less afraid, and they're being a bit more aggressive and trying to force mistakes by bumping them and being a bit more unorthodox in certain areas. They're not being afraid, essentially. That's what I think now.
Again, it's finding that footing where you can be confident to go through a lot of the shots that they're now doing. It's really good to see.
Well, that's the thing. You can't beat a top team. Like you can't beat a team. Well, you can't beat him if you do that. Let me tell you, your own goals are not the way to beat Vitality.
Another sensational own goal off the post, and then I think it was Karma into Gyro, who absolutely slams it top bins. And if that's the goal that Splyce end up losing this game on, that is absolutely heartbreaking.
I mean, that's the double commit mistakes we have there, because either one of them would have saved that, but then they just slammed into each other.
It's that non-confidence in the unfamiliar teammate.
Well, that's true as well, but I think that's a communication thing. All someone has to do is say, that one of them's got it, or what position you're in, and it'll be fine. They had the time as well, because that was just a bit, unfortunately, just rushed.
Like that, Karma there, she went for the pass over towards Brettles. Very well done. It's adding that avenue of, look, you don't know what we're going to do. We could be passing, we could be shooting, you're not sure. And that means that then the defenders are torn between two minds. That's still by Scrub there as well on his way back towards the defense. Opens it up in the midfield and then get control of the ball. And another demo. Poor Gyro. There for Karma as well. He has got bloodlust.
There are so many demos coming out here.
We were complaining in the Ground Zero game with Splyce. There weren't enough.
Exactly. And I'm glad they've listened to me. I'm glad they've listened to my communication and been like, you know what? You're right, Dingsy. We're going to get more demos. They need a goal now, though. Obviously.
Oh, that's a very nice save. But Splyce needs to keep it up to them in their half. Nice flick high, but Scrub, that free jump. Goes low.
Too low.
Yeah, forced a touchdown. But in the end, our Renault Vitality end up winning 3-0 over the Splyce side. Now, we're not able to look at the groups just yet. We'll look at that after this series. We're about to have a little old peek at, because we are going to be hopping straight over into Cloud9 versus Veloce. So this is a North America versus an EURLRS team. So let's hop straight into there. We're currently still in game 1 as well. What are we thinking? What are we thinking, Doomsy?
I mean, we gotta go with the Cloud9.
What are we thinking? No, let's think. Let's think outside the box.
All right, let's think outside the box. I think. Okay, so this is the thing, right? Cloud9, Veloce on. The differences between LAN. Veloce would be a bit more inconsistent in a LAN environment. Cloud9, LAN is like their home. They perform better on LANs, I think, than they do online. They just every single time they do so well in a LAN environment. So I'm expecting big things from Cloud9 this series. They're consistently in like the top 4. See, even since their first RCS, they've just been in top 4 of everything. I'm expecting big things from Cloud9. Obviously, I mean, I don't think they're even the type of players that would even underestimate or even care who they're playing against. They'll just they'll do their thing. Yeah. And they won't be. I feel like they have like mental resilience to not get, taken like down a peg or two.
I mean, so I feel like to get to this point, Cloud9 had to go up against the Titans of Lost Potato. They ended up beating them 3-0, which shocked the world. Everybody is amazed by that. So Lost Potato, they have already lost one of their series. And Veloce, in actually a very even series, I think, on paper, they ended up beating Renegades 3-1. Renegades having a little bit of a turn of form at the moment as well. Sort of, unfortunately, not doing as well as the previous Chiefs roster, but Chiefs are now Icon who were tainted. It's a whole thing. But yeah, Renegades ended up losing to Veloce. And Veloce, unfortunately, losing out in the RLRS playoffs. Couldn't quite make it into the RLCS when they went 7-0 in their league play. So shame for Veloce. I'm hoping this is now a time where they can push the fact that their roster is actually incredible. If you guys don't know as well, Veloce is Freaky, Niels Cook, and Flame. And obviously, Cloud9 is Squishy, Gimmick, and Torment. We're going to be getting into this game very shortly. Just having a few little old issues going on, but don't worry, guys. So we're definitely thinking Cloud9 win this. Chat, should we put it to chat? Chat, what do you reckon? Should we go for that? I think it's obviously just going to be a Cloud9 sweep for this one. Game 1 looks to be going heavily in Cloud9's favor as well.
Yeah, so I think the interesting, the interesting thing is whilst Cloud9 are definitely, the favorites team, like they're definitely the favorites. I think it's just more interesting to see like Veloce and see sort of how they play. But if in their rival series stats, for example, last season they were the top goal scorers throughout. Yep. They also, they did pretty well in the saves department. Kind of like the fourth in the saves department. So you know they're quite a balanced team. You know, so it'll be interesting to see what side they take, because you can play against Cloud9 and be like, okay, you know what, we're going to like try to play your game and threaten you a little bit, or maybe we'll just let you do your thing a little bit and play counter attacks. You haven't really.
It's so hard to decide how to play though.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's why the first game is always interesting, because you never know. Like you have to feel the other team, right? You have to feel and see how they're playing, and then try to respond. And some players like don't really think too much about how they're going to respond. They just sort of just do their thing and play a bit more feeling, so to speak. They feel it.
Yeah.
Other teams are like, okay, you know what? Let's talk about this. And, okay,
I mean, playing Cloud9, I think the issue is that no matter what you do, they're such a reactive team. They will. It depends even on the score in the game as well. They will turtle up and they'll shut themselves down and they'll just be defensive monoliths if they need to be, but also they can be full-on three-man attack, nobody in their half, just attacking, but somehow end up not conceding sort of runaway goals or sort of long shots. So they're definitely a team that are able to play however they want. I think one thing for certain though is however they end up playing, it's going to look fantastic. You're always going to love watching everything that they decide to do. And Cloud9, they're one of my favourite teams to just witness and just experience what they're doing on the pitch. It's always such a nice thing to be able to watch.
Yeah, I just want to see how many spins Gimmick does. Like, I like playing a counting game. He's done 1, 2, 3.
So we were talking about this at our viewing party. That the RCS viewing party that we did, that he literally cannot go up for an aerial without spinning.
So if you can watch this, like, funnily enough, we were saying Gyros was doing this.
Yeah.
And it fits his name, right? Like he was playing like a gyroscope. It was quite funny. But I think like you can tend to see like the higher ranked players, the more they will sort of spin around. Obviously, there's some top, like K-Dot, for example, is a very clean player. He doesn't spin that much, but as compared to Scrub, who would spin around a lot more. We say we're spinning around, but in general, you know, I've been thinking about this. Why the spinning happens so much?
Okay.
And
God, what's the Professor
even just watching my own gameplay, whilst I don't spin as much as these players, I do spin more than I ever used to. Like you watch some of season 3 stuff or season 1 and 2 of RCS for me, and I don't even air roll. Like I barely even do anything. And as I've played more, like you air roll more and more. And essentially, it's a way you kind of can be more accurate if you're air rolling, because if you're consistently air rolling and spinning, you always know how your car's moving. So you know, like instinctively to like go, like if you're spinning right, you know to spin left, because obviously your car's in like some weird orientation, so you know that doing the opposite of what you're currently doing will spin your car in the opposite direction, as opposed to being straight and then go, okay, now I need to turn left, but my car's upside down facing this way, which way is left, kind of thing.
I mean, it goes back to our recovery argument, where we're saying if you know how to control your car, you can even just get half a second better recovery than someone else. It means that you're going to be able to sort of get there a little bit faster. It's like how a bullet works, right? It's that it's got spin as it comes out the barrel, and that's what keeps it level, right? or with an arrow, it's got the little, like, what are they called? The little feathers on the back. It keeps it spinning. That's what keeps it on that straight trajectory.
Sure. I mean, you are right in that's how it's how that works. But there is no air in Rocket League, so technically you're not spinning.
Then how do the cars breathe, Doomsy?
Oh, damn.
Why does the Dominus have an intake if there's no air?
You know what? I stand corrected. I stand corrected, Stumpy. Well done. You've outsmarted me in this one.
Thank you. So Gimmick is a bullet and Scrub is an arrow. that's what we've decided.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, it's one of those things, like you say. I mean, if you're able to understand exactly how your car moves at the moment, and you're constantly having to adjust, when you need to adjust quickly, it's second nature to you at that point. Sorry, just very quickly, we have had a few little issues trying to get into this game with Cloud9, so just bear with us. We're trying to get it sorted. Well, we're just chatting. But the very clever people in the background, they are trying to get it sorted to make it so that we can see these games. So don't you worry, guys. We'll be there soon, hopefully.
Get some juicy Rocket League soon.
Yeah. But anyway, more analogies. So
more analogies.
What else?
I want to. Okay.
Planets.
What? Well, so whenever you're going for aerials, right? Okay. Every top player will always aerial as they hit the ball.
Yeah.
Always if they were doing a double touch, because the point is, if you're air rolling as you hit the ball, your car doesn't recoil so much, so you can immediately carry on what you're doing and go for it out. Which is probably why that's how it started. That's how most players did it, and then they started air rolling just consistently and just doing it all the time. And I think people just kind of got into a habit of doing that. It's also the more you I guess we call it freestyle, but the more you're spinning and freestyling around, the better car control you have overall. So just in general, anytime you're doing any aerial, you will be better at keeping control of your car. So I guess that it kind of like comes into a habit as well. So slightly different reasons why some players do it and some players don't. But in general, like, you'll see it a lot more at the higher level they are.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at obviously this Veloce squad as well, we've said how strong Cloud9 are. Obviously, everyone knows these guys. Any North American guys might not necessarily know Veloce as well. So obviously, they have got on their side Freaky, who is former Vitality, he's made more of a name for himself in the RLRS, I feel, having that strong team sort of behind him. Niels Cook, who, I'm going to be honest, about 9 months ago, a year ago, I basically wrote off. I basically thought he's not nearly on the level he is. I thought he might do a little bit of a Mark Duda, to be honest, where he is very, very good and then just drops, and then sort of falls off the face of the earth a little bit. And I am so happy that Niels has come out and done as well as he has done. I believe he won MVP for RLRS this most recent season before they went into the Pro Stream relegation. And he's also previously won RLCS MVP in like season 3 or something. So he's a name that I think most people should be familiar with. I mean, you'll know these guys' play style probably better than I do. Do you sort of come up against these often?
Yeah, so I played Niels Cook quite a few times actually. I've played him probably more than more than Freaky or Flame, just because like being on XL. He's always been like, so he's always been pretty decent, like striking, and like he's basically quite all round player. So we'll see how he does in this match, because we do have the match coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we do. I believe our match is going to be not Cloud9, which I do apologise, guys. Instead, it's going to be Crazy Crew versus Childish Gambam. So Crazy Crew, obviously, we saw them before. They are Godsmiller, Waltz on the Moon, and Adri. Still don't know if that's Seam or not, which is obviously quite exciting. And they are going to be against Childish Gambam, which is Tader, Freeze, and the... So, for people who don't necessarily know Childish Gambam, give us just a little rundown of who they are.
So Childish Gambam is Tedder, Frisk, and B-Peak. B-Peak's probably the most unknown one. He's a recent player who's come out. I've played with him a few times. He's probably Tedder and Frisk are probably like the more consistent and reliable ones. B-Peak is kind of like he will peak, and then sometimes like he'll be a little bit, he'll make like a big whiff or something. So he's like the most inconsistent player, but his highs are higher than the others and lows are lower, if that makes sense. So it'd be interesting to see sort of how he plays, what kind of things
I mean, Crazy Crew seeming to be running away with this. Not sure on the scores in the first 2 games. We can get an update about that. That'd be fantastic. But otherwise, Childish Gambam needing to bring 1 or 2 back. I know that Taylor was saying on his Twitter that this might be his last tournament. But it's going to be a good tournament to go out on if it is. But that is also a fantastic shot, saved by Adri on the line. Taylor can't quite score that double cut.
Yeah, overall it seems lovely little touch there, lovely goals from Taylor there. And I don't know how many goals Childish Gambam have been scoring, but I imagine that from Crazy Crew's playstyle, they're being a bit more. Crazy Crew would be aggressive, and Childish Gambam need to be just, they need to play either extremely, not extremely, but like quite defensive, counter-attack style, or try to outpace them. And at the moment, it seems like they are trying to go for like the pacing option, because they have been pressuring Crazy Crew more so this game so far.
So 1-0 up now for Childish Gambam. It seems like, by the way, that whenever we join into a game, the team that is losing gets a game, or like gets a couple goals. So I think we're the losers' good luck charm.
Yeah. They see us and they're like, oh, we need to play well for the team something. We've got to please them.
Let's do well for them, not for ourselves.
Yeah,
These
not
players
for
should have
ourselves.
played for themselves.
No,
Smiller, though, like you go for something very nice. It's just,
Didn't get the bounce. Just
yeah,
kind of rolled,
he wanted that to hit the backboard a little bit sort of flatter, so it would bounce out. But
Oh my god. Oh! He's setting himself up for a good finish really well there. And, you know, he just, unfortunately, the defense was pretty strong. Adri there was very, very quick, so he didn't have the time to go for it, so he had to force it.
There's 2 minutes remaining. Chris Crew needed to get a goal back. The aggression solely on the side of Childish Gambam. Attempting the double. Taylor can't get there, but BP manages to clean up what Taylor left behind. Second touch off the wall. Steve Thur is going to be there. He is not. Now, they are 2 goals up with under 2 minutes remaining. And also, looking like Seeb is now playing on Crazy Crew, but now it's Seeb, Adri, and Godsmiller.
So Wolves to the Moon isn't playing now. Are they just doing a 4-man rotation or something? I'm not sure.
I think this is genuinely unprecedented, where they're using all of their subs, and sort of rotating them round.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they seem to be doing well so far, so
yeah.
see how they stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, Seeb obviously was the previous triple treble sub, so it's not exactly like he is some player that is just sort of entered this for a laugh. He is in there to do as best that he can, and he can do well.
Maybe that's why they didn't play him.
Main roster.
Maybe that's why they didn't play him against triple treble. They were like, you know, we can't play him against the former teammate.
Well, surely he knows them best.
Well, maybe, but maybe he just couldn't handle the pressure. The strats of Rocket League.
You can see who can see himself scoring at Crazy Crew though. It is Freeze. Gets himself the 3rd goal on the side of Childish Gambam. Nice pinch there from BP, forced with Seeb. Gets it off the ceiling. Those ceiling reads are so important as well at the moment. It seems like if a pass can happen, it's not necessarily going to come from the floor. If you can then go up in the
that's a
air.
gorgeous fake.
Oh,
that was a gorgeous fake from Tether there.
Pretty.
He did it. I mean, these are the 1v1 plays that you need to see a little bit more of. He just completely takes Seeb out of the game, throws in a lovely fake, and those are what's needed. And you know, if you have a 1v1, give yourself those options.
Man, that was something cheeky. That was something real cheeky. But now, Crazy Crew, obviously we're winning those first 2 games. So I don't know where this version of Childish Gambam has come from. But it's definitely the one that they're going to want to be going forward with, I think.
I mean, they've just got all the pressure at the moment. Childish Gambam, they're not playing safe, so to speak. They're just kind of being aggressive. They're choke holding, they're boost starving. There's not really. It's definitely one very one-sided game. That's very clear.
I mean, whoever wins this is going to be going through to our losers quarter-final. And unfortunately, I believe whoever loses this is going to be out of the tournament completely. So those are our stakes, and it is very early on in the day, of course.
It's
Play for 2 hours,
we're in the
losers
losers
both
round
off
one.
home.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the flight. That's the flight. To get there, it takes 2 hours. Come back.
Yeah, so if Crazy Crew do end up getting the 4th game, it means Childish Gambam will be out and they will be donezo for this tournament.
He's like doing a basketball dribble there. He hit it straight down. You don't really see that. He hit it straight down he went from the ceiling, hit it straight down, tried to bounce it back up. And if he had the boost, he probably could have knocked it on for a double touch. A double touch off the ground. You don't see that.
They could definitely be utilised more. Sure. Like even just the power hits, just generally power hits on the floor or off the ceiling. Ceiling we're seeing now. But like you say, the basketball dribble off the floor. Because if you come from the ceiling, you then hit it down. If you then meet it then in the middle as you're coming down and it goes up, you can just get a double touch.
Exactly.
That could be cheeky.
It's just throwing things in there that the opponents aren't reading. Because players play so much more. Like, you know, we were talking about the pre-jump saves earlier. Players play a lot more preemptively nowadays. They don't really react to plays so much, so they kind of predict and then play off that. So if you can, play, a ground shot, like a ground bounce or something, where they're not really going to think that's going to happen, then it can, even though it technically is the easier thing to save, it might throw them off. Yeah, because they're just not expecting it, and that's what most of Rocket League is at this point, or competitive Rocket League at least. It's that you don't necessarily go for
You're going just off your instinct a lot of the time. That's why fakes are so important. You saw that Taylor got a goal against Seed, where Seed just went flying past. You just presume that Taylor's going to go for your standard shot on net and just fake him out for it. So there's way more that can be done generally across the board in that regard. Going into game number 4, this is now do or die for Childish Gambam. Are they able to secure this next game? Or are we going to be seeing the game at number 5 where both teams have it all to play for?
Oh, he's caught just off guard there. Oh, I thought that was going to be in. That was so close. They caught that third man off guard on Crazy Crew. But then I just came up with some context. That was great.
See, this is basically his CV for like another team. Because if he can do some incredible stuff here that he's attempting, then he is going to have a really good chance either subbing or going for a good shot at an RLRS team next season. Still going for something cheeky as well. Because in an Octane, that flip reset line.
Yeah, wrong card choice. When you can change cars mid-aerial, you know. Oh,
like a preset.
Yeah. There's a mechanic.
That'd be scary.
I think Steve had that as well. He's read that very well. It can be very difficult to read those board from the angles.
Yeah, I mean, by the looks of things, Steve's reading ability is fantastic of this game. It was obviously his downfall previously, where he is predicting stuff that happens a little bit too soon, but you can't fault him for it. And that is a good lead by Steve and a great follow-up by Godsman.
This is, both teams are playing so much better now. They're not, already in this first minute, we're seeing a lot more control. The space is so much bigger now for both sides. They're spreading out a lot more, playing with each other as opposed to sort of just getting a lot of random hits and 50-50s. And Godsmiller there gets the enough double touch, forcing teams like, they communicate, don't go for this, I've got it. Godsmiller goes to the shot, gets to this goal, and it's very well played.
Crazy Crew, they are attempting to seal their fate, right chance at day 2. If they win this, it doesn't mean that they're through. It just means that they are going to be facing the loser between Cloud9 and Veloce. So that's much ever. So it's not anything by any means going from here, but at least you have the opportunity to sort of have another chance for it to be up to you.
You can kind of think this is like a warm-up game, if you're gradually playing more and more difficult opponents, it kind of works quite nicely.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a chance to flex, to see what you can do. Maybe try and throw off your opponents. They're going to be looking at what you're able to do. I don't know how much Cloud9 sort of look into a lower level opponent like this. Like obviously if they're playing like a Vitality or sort of an NRG or something, they're going to analyse them a lot or whatever. But do you think that they would go into some replays or just some sort of like games and look at how, say, Crazy Crew have been playing this tournament, or do you think they could just maybe beat them from their general ability?
Yeah, I think, I can't obviously say with any certainty, but I would expect Cloud9 just sort of rely more on their own gameplay, because you can't just analyse all of these different teams in the space of one tournament whilst you're playing as well. So obviously they would most likely just be trying to work on their own game, see their own weaknesses in play.
That is such an unfortunate miss for Childish Gambam. There's also the double commit. Freeze gets it high and lofting in the centre. Steve takes full advantage. BP and Tader then go for it. Miller has an open right side of the net. Now that is a 2-goal deficit that Childish Gambam are going to have to attempt to catch up to.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. They had kind of 3 players all on the same point, and only one of them was forced out because he was making a save. You can't really have 2 players in the exact same spot doing the exact same thing with a double commit like that. You've got to make sure you're covering more space.
Looking at the results from the other games, by the way, and it's looking like in Group A we have got Ground Zero are on our loose quarterfinal, and it's Splice versus Mount Gang in our other loose quarterfinal. And very early reports suggest that it is a where did I just see it? Complexity beats TSM 3-2.
That is
Complexity
a big
looking to be through to day 2 already, and Crazy Crew attempting to seal their ticket to the chance, obviously, for day 2.
Meanwhile, though, we've got Crazy Crew 2-0 up against Childish Gambam, and they need to bring back 2 goals, because if Childish Gambam lose this, then they are out. They're done with the tournament.
Nearly a runaway goal there scored by Crazy Crew, saved out by BP. Steve getting that central, Smiller up nice and fast, drops it onto the crossbar, doesn't quite make its way in, though. But Adri with a, save getting the...
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, okay, 2 shots going from the crossbar as well. Haley just lofts it far and Smiller can get an easy clear. Now BP, 50 boost to it and then can he get it too far? No, Adri can intercept. Brees up quickly, can he steal that side boost as well? He does.
Oh my goodness me.
Oh no! Oh, another crossbar! If these goals were needed, I would be in bits of Crazy Crew right now, but they are just attempting to extend that lead. Now, Tader, his own backboard, these seconds are vital and they are being wasted. The central, the bump coming out, and the demo. This has got to be the win for Crazy Crew. Childish Gambam are going to be sitting in their plane seats home. Never mind.
Excuse me.
Smiller,
there's 1 second left.
Oh my! Right now, Smiller is BMing.
Smiller is BMing.
He has BM'd this. He's let that go in.
Can you imagine? Okay, if Childish Gambam
Reverse sweep.
it would be hilarious.
Come on.
This would be moment. This would be the best moment in Rocket League history. They just got to keep it low. There you go. Simple as that. Yeah, if you do well on a kickoff, you're not going to let that, pop up in the air.
I was really hoping we would see the full-on reverse sweep happen. That's a shame. But now we can say that the first team that we're going to be seeing going out from pool is Childish Gambam. Crazy Crew are through to our losers quarter final. The next game we're going to be going to is going to be after the break. Not too sure which game we're going to be going to, however. Just going to get confirmation on that. Looks like we're going to be going to Ground Zero versus TSM. Now, the stakes for that is our losers quarter final. Again, Doomsy, whoever loses it, they are going to be going out. And whoever wins it is going to be going through to day 2. Do you want to give me just the team name of who you think is going to be going out? Then we can elaborate after the break.
I'll go with Ground.
Zero.
Graphic.
Slam dunk the graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the graphic.
Oh no, we did it. I love how we
No?
we predicted the loser, which is so stupid of us.
It's that harsh. Oh yeah, we did.
We're like, I think Ground Zero is going out, out the tournament. TSM are going through.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Then TSM are going to be going through. Right. Okay. I see the confusion now. I see the confusion.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry,
right.
That was a bit silly on our end there. That was very silly of us.
All right. Otherwise, guys, we're going to be going to a break. Join us after that. We're going to be looking at that game. So join us very shortly.